What's going on this Wednesday?
Hey Scott, thank you for the intro. As Scott mentioned, Brad's out playing golf. Playing sick. Playing golf. So I'm flying solo. So bear with myself. And is Barry here, Scott? Not sure. I think Barry might be in here helping in the questions answering. Either way.
Don't know that I see him on the list. Oh yeah, there he is. He's here.
Okay, awesome. Barry, thank you for coming in today. It'll be great because since Brad's not here, we'll need the questions answered by somebody who knows exactly what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, we just concluded a fantastic test drive. Over 1,000 people participated. Many people are now Trade Idea subscribers, and I'm going to really dive into it today. We're going to go cover many topics. Going to do a little freestyle, and I'm going to show you again how I use the software. But as a very advanced user, I'm actually not the guy that spends time programming filters and stuff like that. I'm kind of more of a flow feel user in golf. I play by feel, Trade Ideas too. So let's just jump into it. You're watching my screen right now. This is the PowerPoint presentation. Everything you see here is for educational and informational purposes only. Please don't construe anything you hear from myself or Barry or Scott or Brad when he's here as investment advice. That should be done by registered investment advisors only. So all this is for informational and educational purposes. We believe certainly that we are the #1 vendor in fintech. I'm going to show you many reasons why, but we are now the 5th year we're going to be on the Inc. Well, in 2021 rather. It is going to be our 5th year on the Inc. 5000, fastest growing privately held companies list. And we do this because of you, because you guys are real venture capitalists, the people that pay for our subscribers, make it possible for us to do what we do. And I mean pay subscription for Trade Ideas. We believe it's a very fairly priced product considering what you're getting. And I'm going to show you why and many reasons for that. But just again to let you know that we continue to win in lots of different areas, and the pipeline is incredible. I'm going to talk to you a lot about it, and there's just so many things going on. By the time the year ends, the product is going to be virtually completely revamped. So that's very exciting, and we think that there's just going to be thousands of more people using it. So let me get out of this, and we're just going to jump right into it. So can everyone see my screen? I'm on a channel called Explosive Winners, and we are in the middle of a race. I'm going to start just kind of dialing in. Fantastic, Mike, thank you. So before I get into the software, I'm going to tell you guys something. I mean, many of you come to this Q&A. We see lots of repeat visitors. And those that really want to not only use Trade Ideas, but possibly have Trade Ideas be a business partners, you should really shoot us an email about our affiliate program. We pay close to $3 million to our affiliates last year. And actually, I think it might be even over that, to be honest. And we gain customers by people like yourselves telling other people about their experience. So you should check it out. It's especially if you're active on any kind of social media, it's a fantastic way to earn extra income. And Marissa, who's our VP of Client Services, she can tell you all about it, help you get started, and it's a great way to make extra money. So one of the things that we're jumping right into the software, you'll notice that, and some of you have seen this before, but we have modified the races to now have logos. And there's another thing that you can do. And I'm going to show it a little bit later, which is you can replay the day. So in this channel, I want to make a bold statement, and Barry and I always joke about this stuff, but we talk about how do you never miss a move? And we think we have it, okay? This is a type of view display that's going to make you not miss a move. So how is that? Well, look at the very top stock. So this stock from the beginning, if you're getting in before the market or right as the market opens. HTCR started very early, pulled back. Actually, it started very early, pulled back, and then look at what it did throughout the day. These are 15-minute candles. You're talking about 15, 30, and an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3.5. For 3.5 hours, it ran straight up, going up close to 200% and finishing up 100%. Notice that there's a number 11 here. This 11 means that it's been winning this competition, and the competition is who is gaining the most percentage points from the beginning of the race when you start. So right now, all these stocks in post-market that we're looking at are all competing with one another. And you have to really understand, I've mentioned this before, but you have to kind of get the idea that there's really two ways to look at data, okay? This is what we think is the new way, and this is a more traditional way that we had trade ideas. Hopefully everyone can see this, but notice here, you're gonna see the data update in real time, okay? I'm gonna click on UNVR, it updates, you can see the chart updating, CNCE, updating. But what you have to do here is you have to figure out which things you wanna click on. Now, of course, we have these position and ranges that can help you see if something's like on highs, like MDB is on 10-day highs. But how do you really get this information into a relative view where you can see who is winning against who? I'm going to move this back. And this is the way this is done. So out of all of these stocks that are in this list right now, OCFT is performing the strongest. It's up the most. TGTX is next. You can see what's happening. And here's WIMI. What's great is that this is a type of window that not only catches the move, but you're also going to see the stocks that are rebounding. And it's such a different approach that, again, no other vendor has this information for you. Hold on a second, I'm looking at the question. So let me tell you about external linking and the reason that you see that. The problem is, and Barry's talking to you about it in the chat, is that external linking is a completely trade ideas product. The brokers don't really help you at all. And every single broker has a slightly different interface. So we have to do a lot of quote unquote magic to make it happen. That's why there's so many settings. And then a broker can easily update their software and then the setting breaks, which is why Brokerage Plus, our trading module, which I'm going to bring up and show you, is a great way to counteract that if you're okay with trading with interactive brokerage or with E-Trade for zero commissions. And by the way, we're going to be adding more brokers this year. So there's going to be more there. But the point is that the way to combat that is Brokerage Plus. Otherwise, simply tell support and help us to know what the problem is, and typically we can make some sort of external linking adjustment. Yeah, I mean, we've done the brokerage surveys, and what we found out is many of you use interactive brokerage, which is why we have them as a connection in Brokerage Plus. And then there's stuff like Robinhood. I mean, that stuff is not going to be something that we connect with. But since payment for order flow is going away, they might not even be in business. But we do this communication where we talk to our customers, we find out what they're working with, and that's why we connected to IB. So many of our customers were with IB. And again, many more connections will be added. The iPad and the web version are a little bit different. The fastest version, of course, is the downloadable version, and there is a way you can get it to work on a Mac. On an iPad, it's really a little bit tricky, but we are doing lots of stuff this year to help mitigate that and improve that speed. So we appreciate the feedback, and things will be done to help. Okay. All right, so back to this view. Many of you have never seen what this is. And what I mean by that is that you can see it, you're like, oh, I don't know, you know, it's something new. But you really must contemplate the concept of seeing 1, 2, 3, in this case, I think it's close to like 25 charts competing with one another without being distracted and being able to quickly focus and isolate the ones that are making the big move. That's what it's all about, catching that first. And of course, we're in after hours. This is, you know, after hours movements. But then you find stuff like this TBLT, okay? And I've shown you that there's a 1-2 process. You see it, it catches your attention. And you can simply click on the buy order. It's going to be live or in simulated trading and place an order. So in this case, I placed it almost a point away, but the reason I did that is because I placed it above this, which should be resistance. If it can trade above this, then it could really pick up momentum, both with volume and with movement. So this type of trading, it requires just your commitment to risk management. And that's what we talk about. We talk about how with trade ideas, if you can just simply execute this path that we're showing you, where see how DAO just popped in, okay? I see something, wow, look at this move. Once again, I'm just giving you an example here. It's ran up a lot since here. So I can do a different approach on this one. I can click the buy button and I'm gonna let it come back to me, okay? And notice how the stop order is instantly placed and I can just drag it a little bit lower. There we go, right there. This is the proper technique. Okay, Mitchell, the reason you probably cannot yet is because, well, you should be able to, let me see here. If you right click and go to show race setup, there's an option here that says show company logos. If you do not have that, I think that's in the beta, Barry, isn't it? I thought that it was already in the beta. But if not, a very new beta is coming out soon and everybody should be on it. So that's coming. Hold one second, please. I'm just adjusting my screens. Yes, the beta that's going to be released is going to have many, many improvements, including for the premium subscribers is going to be an increase in the speed of some of the data from the top lists. In other words, the top lists, which are in real time, but they refresh every, I think 15 seconds, is going to go to about 2 seconds. Okay. And the reason this is done is just this is an immense amount of data, whereas something like this window right here, let me just show you. This is updating sub-second. Because again, you can see it by the timestamp. You can see many, many updates when they take place, and they instantly hit. And this is an instantaneous thing, but this, from a technology point of view, is a lot harder to do when you're doing it in gigantic batches. So we're constantly working on improving our servers to help you guys see the data better. And the new beta that's going to be coming out shortly, and we're going to obviously send an email to everybody, will have some amazing new functionality. And again, including the logos, which just add a little bit of spice. I mean, they don't really make a difference in terms of the race. The cars do the exact same thing, but we've had very positive feedback from people in terms of them liking this layout. So once again, I'm just coming back to the fact that HTCR, if that was a trade that you were in today, you killed it, okay? And you can't miss it in this window. So tomorrow, I really recommend going to this Explosive Winners channel and just looking at the race and seeing who is winning multiple races. I mean, this one was not the only one, as I said. Look at this, okay, QTT. Look at Ruby. And of course, MNSO. This one kept winning races, but didn't pull back hardly at all. So this is what Trade Ideas excels at. We are here to make it easy for you to find the things that are moving, and of course, at the same time, catch them before everyone else and stay in them longer. So there was a question about Apple and Tesla. Okay, so we have a channel called the FANG stocks. Okay, and I believe all of those, there's Tesla in the race, are in there. So you're going to see the FANGs on this channel, FANG and Friends, and you'll be able to see if any of them are making any kind of move that you would want to get in there. Thank you, Mike. We really appreciate that. Love hearing it. There's no finish line for us. We're continuing to innovate, continuing to innovate, and continuing to innovate. So, and you can see, by the way, when there's bad prints after hours, you see like something just moved up and then it moved back. You know, all that stuff happens because it's after hours data. But the symbol color tells you if the stock is up or down for the day. So you can see if something is moving up that is rebounding versus something that's moving up that's been up from the close, previous close the whole day. And here's your Apple, okay? So there's a channel for everybody, and you don't have to spend a lot of time, excuse me, configuring. All you need to do is just focus on what you think that you like and simply find the channel that fits it. So we have the S&P 500, we have the Wall Street bets, and of course, the FANG and Friends are all the stocks that everybody knows. So right now, the iPad version, I don't know what the channel status on the iPad is. I think we need to do a little bit more upgrading to get that into the same ballpark. But there are plenty of channels, even on the web-based version. They're going to give you the Apples and the Teslas. But I'll just tell you this, the Apples and the Teslas are very rarely the big percentage movers. This is what people often don't understand about the stock market. Even though a stock like Tesla, for example, let me see where it is. I'll just pull it up here. Okay, it's up 9 points. That's only 1%. Whereas the other one that I told you, let's look at this one from yesterday. Okay, AERC. Yesterday, AERC went from $3 to $14. Tesla and Apple and Netflix could combine together and they would never pull this kind of percentage move. So there's a lot of opportunity cost in trading stocks that that everybody likes, including like the Nikes and etc., simply because you're competing with the institutions, the algos, the payment for order flow people. Out of any of those stocks, me personally, I only trade AMC and GameStop in that genre because I know like some of the mechanics of the short squeeze. So I don't typically trade Apple, I don't trade Tesla that much because there's two things. Number one, a stock like Tesla can move pretty good in terms of points, not that great in percentages, like on any given day, just because of the nature of the game. But at $726 dollars a share, until there's a split, like how many shares are you really going to buy? Whereas a stock like AERC, which started at yesterday at, you know, the move like at 390, I mean, you can easily buy 1,000 of that and trade that up to 9 and think you destroyed it and then watch it run to 14 and be maybe a little bit FOMO upset. But my point is, Trade Ideas is great for finding the AERCs of the world. And that's something that you should pay attention to, because number one, an individual investor can get more of it, and the moves are bigger on a percentage basis. So yesterday, for example, I traded AUVI in sympathy to the AERC move. And AUVI did this yesterday. Went from, and I actually caught it right here. So it had already started to go up quite a bit percentage-wise, but it ran up to 225. And today pulled back a little bit, but I personally still think lots of action here. There's also options, and there's a channel for that. We don't track the options on a contract basis, but if you go to this channel called Unusual Options Volume, what you're going to see is all the stocks where the options action is unusual, and that means there's something could be going on in the stock. And here we got calls, high call volume to put volume. Here you got everything. Unusual options, and that's where you can then use your other platform to check that out. So remember, we do not make any recommendations in buying stocks at Trade Ideas. You have to make those decisions on your own. Okay, but what we're showing you is that in terms of speculation, there's no better tool to find the stocks that I mentioned. Like, for example, HTCR. You want to be in a move like this, and you can be in it here or even here and still have this many candles to go. This is your, even on a down day, remember the market was down close to 1% today, okay? But the explosive winners channel just dominated it. So you're going to see all the unusual movements in this capacity. Okay, let's take a look at some of these other ones, and I'm just going to reiterate this trading style that I suggest everybody at least try. And by the way, let me bring this up real quick 1 second. One of the best places to try it is in our simulated trading mode. Okay, so this is where this is my driving range. I practice here, and of course, when I trade live in Brokerage Plus, I also do it here as well. So you can see we've got E-Trade, Interactive Brokerage, Alpaca is about to come online, and that's going to add cryptocurrencies and lots of other things. And I'm connected right now to simulated trading. So when I get up in the morning, the first thing that I do is I click on this Holly AI. I highlight all of these, I right click and I hit enable. What then happens is during the day, Brokerage Plus will trade the AI picks from the software. And this is where a lot of these trades came from. And then I decide if I'm going to trade around them or not. So zeros are the ones that it got out of. So I take some profits in some names and then hold some other ones. And I can click hide zero, and now these are just my current open positions. Okay, and this allows me to practice swing trading properly, because the swing trading concept is you're not simply just getting in and getting out instantly. The whole notion of day trading is great, but typically a astute investor exits a trade for a reason. And for example, let me just move back here and I'll bring us back up. So AUVI, I entered it right here at 140. So right now, do you think I have a reason to sell? Especially since it was the first day that it made this gigantic move. I mean, of course, your risk parameters could be different than mine, and that's totally fine. But what I'm saying is that if you want to be in a trade that can maybe trend higher, it's never going to trend only higher for one day. Trending by nature is a multi-day process. So I'm a little bit older, I'm 51. I used to day trade all the time. Magazine articles were written about my day trading, but as I've gotten older, I've realized that I want to sometimes let the stocks do the work for me. And I'll just give you guys an example. I'm in a trade of ROCC, and I'm going to show you the price, my price in this is right, oh my gosh, it's even, my price is below this because it changed its name. It was a different name and got acquired. So my point is, it was a natural gas play. I like the trending of it, and I'm in it at $9 and it's tearing right now. That's one of my biggest positions. And I'm saying that you can't just day trade around that kind of moves because it moves so quickly. Like, look at this move right here. This move, see this? Look at this and remember it from the daily, okay? And notice this. Okay, it almost looks similar just in terms of the style. Now, of course, these little ones can make a move of a month or a year in 2 days. But the point that I'm really trying to make is that an exit should be a risk reward sort of move versus just simply like the market's closing. And again, it's a style thing. Like, for example, Barry, I don't think likes to hold positions overnight, and Barry's a great trader, and that's his style that he's comfortable with. I'm just saying, for me, since I'm doing the Q&A, I prefer to stay in things a little bit longer and see what happens. And so, for example, in this AUVI, it's possible it'll come back. Okay, I could flatten the trade. But if it runs again, I mean, what if it runs for a month? And you can see this thing, let me show you something. And this is why you always want to look at longer term periods. You see this? What happened here? What if this move, and remember, this is the first little green thing since this one. What if this move is the beginning of this move? How will you stay in it if you're exiting? So that's the only thing I want to point out, okay? So we talked about trading from the charts, critical, okay? These are buy and sell buttons that you can configure. The channels are there to help you surf through whichever price action you want to do. And there's so much more you can do with the racing. Like, for example, I'm going to switch to this channel right here. And we've talked about it before. This is a race that's talking about unusual volume. So here you are increasing in unusual volume. And this also shows you winners from the open. So same thing. You want to be in this kind of stuff. Here we go. Look at this. I'm hoping that by me just showing it to you visually, you can see like, wow, these guys did all the work for us. Like, so many people spend so much time working on their layouts and trying to tweak this and that, but our channels are done by professional traders, I mean, myself included, and we are good at what we do. You should trust us that we're giving you information that you should be watching, okay? Now, of course, this price and volume, it's not gonna catch the Teslas. You know why? Because Tesla's not doing anything for you to catch. That's the whole point. These are trading very unusual volume amounts. So you can see the volume is starting to pick up. And when I see this happen, okay, watch this. This is going to be maybe the most important takeaway for you during this whole series. Watch what I'm doing. And I'm on a daily chart, okay? I'm clicking the buy button. I'm going right, whoops, sorry, clicking the buy button, coming right here and placing a buy order. There you can see it. So when it breaks out again, and look, I have a stop automatically. I'm going to move it below all the stops. I'm okay with taking like a risk of 50 cents to possibly catch a move that's going to go into this area. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't have to be complicated. That's the bottom line. It just doesn't. What happens is the cult of technical analysis, and there isn't anything specifically wrong about the technical analysis, but the reason I say the cult is it makes investors like yourself spend a lot of time chasing their tail, okay? They run around and run around and run around trying to find the indicator that's going to tell them something, but indicators, they're indicating. In fact, I want to tell you a funny story. We went to a TC 2000 event way back in the day of trade ideas, and one of their broadcasters was saying, you know, guys, the reason we don't do any back testing is because, you know, that's on an individual basis. If indicators work, they would be called predictors. I like that. I keep saying that. If indicators work, they would be called predictors. And that's where, again, I'm going to talk about our AI in just a little bit. But my point is, we really do it all. You have all the charting, so you don't need to spend money on the extra charting package. We have all the indicators that you could ever need. And the point is, if you need something extra, I mean, most likely it's a waste of both your time and ours, but we actually can help you because we do custom indicator work, and more indicators are coming online because it's just a marketing tool. But look at what I'm doing here. I want you to just logically see it. Okay, I can also make it even more exciting by simply saying I can go right here. 353, that means this whole move to the downside has been reversed. Okay, I might miss 70 cents right here. Okay, but if this gets broken out, this thing is running. And that's the kind of trading that you want to put yourself into. Okay, you want to be able to get into the moves, stay in those moves, and find them before everybody else does. And doing what I'm doing right here, and I'm doing this in our simulated trading environment, but these orders are staying in. Okay, another thing that I do is if I like something and I really like this pattern, I'll click it, this heart, okay, and then this stock will then appear in stocks that I like. So the software can, of course, help you by keeping track of the things that you're interested in. We're doing immense improvements to all of these things. Of course, the short squeezes, and for the people that like the downside, this is the opposite of the explosive winners. It's the big stocks that are going down a lot. And again, there's money to be made there. Momo Momentum is a great one. Let me show you something about the AI. Okay. So this is the Trade Ideas Artificial Intelligence, Holly. And what it is it's akin to a card counter in Vegas. And if any of you, and I think some of you have heard this before, but if you watched the movie 21, you understand that card counting in Vegas does not guarantee that you're going to win everything on the blackjack table. What it does is it gives you a statistical edge. Okay, the markets are very volatile and they do lots of kind of crazy stuff. But the point is that you want to trade statistically. Now, let's take a look at all of this here real quick. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trades. All of these gave you an entry time, and depending on the mode that you're in, conservative, moderate, or aggressive, and I typically stay on aggressive because I like to trade around them. It gave you all the signals that you need to follow to manage the position properly for risk management. But let's take a look at the first one. Okay, and just so you guys can see what we're doing. So here's your entry, okay? And I bought that. So see, like because of what I did here, I showed you, I have the Holly tab and I highlighted it and I traded it. So here it bought it. So this is my buy price next to the AI's price, and you can see what it did. You know, it had a really good run, pulled back, and then continued going higher. And in this case, again, I sold at the end of the day just per my trading instructions. I didn't trade around it, but I'm gonna hard it, okay? And this thing, you know, you can see that it's breaking out, it's going. So now that I have it hearted, what I can do is I can, once again, click on the buy button and put a buy order here, okay? With a sell order right over here. Okay, so what this tells me again is, hey, this thing is trending higher, it's continuing, and I've got my stop in. Now I'm not worried about risk. I'm just letting the events flow. So by the way, in terms of, look at the win-loss ratio that we gave you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 winners, 2 losers. Now look, let's look at the losers, okay? So first of all, Holly is a little bit, and Holly is the name we gave our AIs, and Holly, but Holy Grail. she's a little braver than I am. She's not afraid to show. She does not care if it's like, she does not know that energy has been on a tear, because she's only looking at statistics and she's saying, hey, this is potentially a big mean reversion move. In other words, I'm going to try to maybe make, sorry, not mean reversion, big continuation move. I'm sorry, I got it totally flipped. So she thought that this was going to continue, just like ROCC and all the other ones that I brought up before. And I'm going to highlight this. And today just happened to be a day where an outside event happened. There was some explosion at some Texas natural gas plant, and for all sorts of crazy reasons, natural gas prices went down. So that's what you're seeing here. And there's no way anybody could predict that. But notice, risk hit, stop loss. I mean, the stop loss was bigger because why did we risk this much? Well, I'll tell you why. Because look at the big outsized moves. This thing went from 30 to 44 in a week. Amazing movement. So here, Holly's just saying, hey, because of this amazing movements, I got to give it more room. And risk management, you can take that kind of a loss. It's not a problem. Let's look at IVR. Okay, so IVR, kind of the same thing. It looked for a pullback. I'm not sure what strategy it was, but it doesn't matter. The point is that she got in right here as it was looking to go up, and it just had a sell move. But but proper risk management prevented you from being stuck. Okay, so let me tell you once again what I do in these cases. I always look back at the old Holly trades. Okay, and what I do is I'll click right here and I'll say, hey, let's get back on the buy side of this, since Holly was on the buy side, and I'll buy it right here if it starts to come back, and I'll sell it on new lows. So this is how I'm engaging with the software, and the software and I are working together. Today was a negative day overall if you're just doing it by change from the closed entries. Yes, but let me show you something, okay? And this is, again, Holly has positive days and negative days. Look at what happened yesterday. So you can go to history and yesterday. Okay, yesterday, even with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 negative trades, it just killed it on the winners. 5-point winner, 3-point winner, 3-point winner, and a 1.25 point winner, and only, again, 3 halfway big losses. But $646 on 100 shares is 6 points of winners. Okay, that's a very, very big move. And today, there was less than 1 point of losers. So $84, $100 would be 1 point. So today is 84. But you can go and you can look at all of the history for the AI. So you can go, for example, and go to a time frame and say, well, show me, you know, again, like I said, yesterday. And what it does is this is as if you held the trades. So this is a way to practice swing trading. So this isn't what happened yesterday. Yesterday, the move itself was over 8 points, as I mentioned. But this is yesterday and today combined. So these are 2 days in a row. And this is how, and this is holding it still. So this is if you're holding it. So everything is for holding. And we have a completely different feed that's coming out that's going to help you stay in the historical AI winners. So this is just what it looks like. And again, you can go and you can go to time frame. You can say, what about like for, let's say the last 2 weeks of May, or maybe here, let's do a little test drive week. So from the 6th, and then we're gonna go 14 days. Okay, so let's look at how it did 14 days. And now this is saying that everything that it traded, you are still in. So Eric, I'm saying these aren't exits, you're still in them. So the aggressive profit is if you had held them through today. Let's see what's going on. So in this case, big loss on LPI, short. So again, you can see what it does. And I'm not saying that you would hold everything. I'm just saying that you can see exactly where the problems are, and you can see what you want to be in and what you don't want to be in. I mean, that's really what I'm trying to say. And again, if you look at the percentages, okay, here you have the biggest percentage loser was a 32%. The biggest percentage winner was a 40%. You can kind of look at it that way, 26 to 30, and so on and so forth. And many, many more winners than losers. It's just that, you know, I'm trading it at 100 shares. And by the way, if this is how you change this, if you go to tools, options, and you go to AI trade size, 100 shares is not anything that people typically trade. I do this simply for demonstrating the points gain or loss purposes. So let's see what happens if you did $5,000 worth, something like that. So it'll make some adjustments. Oops, I might have just mistyped. Hold on. 5,000 up 5. Okay. There we go. So all of your positions now, this should have changed. By the way, guys, I'm always on a development version. So let me do something real quick. Real time. See what would have happened here. Oh, I put 5,000 shares. Sorry, guys. Yikes. Okay, $5,000. I was wondering why that happened. I was like, that's not what it's supposed to be that way. Okay, here you go. So this will adjust everything for the dollar amounts that you typically trade. Okay, and now let's go back to the history. Okay, yesterday, that's how it would have been: moderate, conservative. And again, these are 3 different risk modes. This is simply without stop losses. That's why this can fluctuate so much. And again, that's not how I trade, but we just show you, like, if you simply buy and hold without any risk parameters whatsoever. This has risk parameters involved. If you're being stopped out, you're stopped. So this is typically, again, more in line with how to trade. So let's go 6/6 and ends. Let's go to 10 days ago. And again, you can mess around with this. In fact, I'm going to say 5/28. Okay. So again, you can see it. So part of what you're seeing here is the bear market that we've had and the volatility. Okay. Which is totally fine. It's just that you are able to historically look it up, and whenever this happens, okay, this is just a recent trade in this one. This was the one that happened, for example, on May 31st. Okay. No, sorry, this is the one. So that's what this winner looked like. Let me go back to some of the downside stuff. So look, big percentage movers. Here, this is a short because it gapped down and this kind of ran up. Again, all that stuff is stuff that happens. LPI, same thing. But as I was saying before, in terms of the Vegas and the way card counting works, you are not going to win every single hand. The AI is a very, very good system. It's just that, like anything else, you have to decide how to have it work for you. Are you going to manage the profit in moderate mode, conservative mode? Are you just going to hold it without any stops? And the way that I work with it is what I've showed you. I look at it, I work with it partly in simulated mode, also in real trading mode. But in simulated mode, I work and I let it show me what it's doing. And then I manage the positions and I have a calendar that's telling me how many trades I've taken, what my profit is, what my return on investment is for my open account. All these things are in there, okay? So this is the toolkit. And remember, we have been in a very volatile market where everything goes up and down very quickly, and no AI can be perfect in that type of situation. When things trend either down or up, Holly can't be beaten. But I'm just saying that, like any system, you want to be involved with it. So my routine, starting the day, highlighting this, watching these trades, okay? Then I am on the winners channel. So this one has some overlap to the explosive winners, the winners and the volume, because this is where all the action is. If you want to miss nothing, this is the channel that you need to be on. It's a channel where you will miss nothing. Okay. All right. Are there any other questions for today? Let me make sure I see, let me pop out the questions, make sure I see everything. Okay, all right, let's finish up. So this was the beta before this test drive. We just talked about upgrading. Try to always stay on the latest beta. We recommend that because that's where our best features are. We are now have extended pre-market and post-market. As you can see during this session, we were talking and lots of stocks are ticking. So we start very early and finish very, very late. Lots of improvements to the charting and customization. You can do a lot of things with colors, indicators, everything like that. And this is how much our software costs, but most of you are already subscribers. But in terms of having forward-facing AI and the kind of visualization that we do, we think this is probably the most comprehensive and best product that you could have in fintech altogether, and very cheap price. So check that out at trade-ideas.com/price. Our support is one of our strongest components of the software. So any questions that you guys have about anything that I did, simply check out a support session and get yourself involved, get a one-on-one or join a webinar where we talk about all of these concepts for you. Barry, who's here helping me as a trading room, and Barry, by the way, nailed it on the AERC, a follow through EFOI. He was in that, and the whole trading room was in that. If you are not in it, you're really kind of hurting yourself. So please try Barry's room, trade-ideas.com/trading room. It's an incredible asset, and Barry's always there helping with the meritocracy of very good trade ideas users. So the community is very good for your overall idea generation and risk management. Interactive Brokerages is one of the brokers we connect to, so you can execute your orders through them. And for the zero commission, you can use eTrade. And as I said before, soon Alpaca will be coming and many other brokers. All of the questions and support, we have YouTube channels, very active on social media, including the Trade Ideas account. Please like us on Facebook, all of your other medias. And again, remember what I talked about, our affiliate program. Very, very good way to earn extra money if you want to share trade ideas with your friends. And if you have any questions, please shoot us an email to info@trade-ideas.com, and I will be more than happy to help, as well as anybody else on our support team. Scott, I think this is it.
Yeah, that pretty much covered it. Thanks everyone, and the recording will be available later on. Stay tuned tomorrow for an email update about how to find it. Thanks. Well, have a good afternoon.